Hello everyone, I'm Rajeshi. Welcome back to the channel. In this channel, we typically talk about the everything related to finance, from stock market, mutual funds, insurance schemes, each and everything. In this video, we'll be focusing on doing a deep dive on the company called Anand Rathi Wealth Management, looking into their quarterly result of FY26. That is the focus for this video, right? Before we go ahead in the crux of the material, just one general disclaimer is that we typically this is more of a education purpose video, not an investment advice. So whatever decision you make, don't do any buying and selling of the stock based on the video. So that's a standard disclaimer. All right, so having said that, let's move on to the crux of the matter. So today, before we do a deep dive on the quarterly result, let's talk about the capital market industry overall, right? So in India or around the globe, typically most industries at the moment are growing at, let's say most mature industries, right, are growing at the rate of, let's say, single high digit, right? But the mutual fund AUM has grown almost 20% CAGR, right? Mutual fund is not a new industry; it's almost industry of almost 30 years old in India, right? Because I remember the Aditya Birla Tax Saver Fund 1996 starting in 1996, so at least 30 years old, right? So this sector has grown at a CAGR of 20% in the last 6 years, right? So this is very exciting. And if I talk about the companies which belong to the sector, because we'll do more companies in the capital market sector, companies typically earn from two kind of revenues they make. So right, first part is the transactional revenue, right? Transactional revenue, basically that more about a one time you made some transaction with the party, and the company made some income out of it, right? Let's say I buy stock of rupees 10,000, right? Then my broker and the broker, the SEBI, then the exchange, all of them will earn from the transaction a few paisa or rupees from it, right? So this is a transaction. It's a one-time income basically for the entity, right? Because if I buy a stock 2 months back of 10,000, then only on the transaction with the company made money, not nothing else, right? Second, we have the trail income or commission based income, right? So this also can be thought about. Let's say I bought mutual funds for 10,000 rupees 2 years back. The mutual fund will still make some money out of it. That's make it very interesting, right? So that's the advantage of the stickiness of a trial income. So typically your commissions, all your agents, your insurance agents, most of them get a trial income commission from your work, right? So having said that, so let's talk about the company Anand Rathi Wealth Management, right? So typically the company has two kind of income, like any other income. It has the trial income. So they typically work with three kind of clients. One is the ultra HNI, the super rich, who has around more than 50 CR of total wealth for them. Then HNI, so let's say in the bracket of 5 crore to 50 lakhs, and then third bracket is a mass influent. Let's say 50 lakhs to 5 crores or 10 lakhs to 5 crores, right? So the motto of this company is personal wealth simplified, right? So this is the first kind of income. Second kind of income is basically the upfront income. So this can be about any advisory, any transaction. So these are the two kind of incomes typically the company makes, right? On the cost side of it, most of the money typically these are not very as such, not in the manufacturing industry. So most of the money goes into the employee salary, right? Because they have to hire people who will advise people, the relationship managers. So typically most of the cost, like around 45% of the total revenue, goes for the employee cost only. So that's the biggest percentage of cost, right? Then we also have, let's say, some part of the money going to run the business, technology, right, and rest is profit. Now, having said that, the company has made great results. The company over the year on year has a profit of 23%, right, and the revenue of 307 crore, and profit for the first quarter, for the first time in the history, the quarterly profit has crossed 100 crores, and it is around 31% up year on year. The AUM has crossed 90,000 crore, and it is up 22%. Now, why do I say that these are great numbers, especially the profit side, right? these are great numbers because typically their income does not always come from, let's say, the investment that people are doing. But let's say I had an investment of rupees 10,000 2 years back, right? And if I imagine they earned 1% commission, so they used to make 100 rupees from me. Now when the market went up, it became the previous 10,000 is now rupees 12,000, right? So the current commission on that won't be 100, but on the value, so it will be 120. Now, given that last 13 months the market has been mostly flattish, right, on the Nifty and on the Nifty and all the other indices, so we see that still the company has a good amount of revenue and profit. So even when the market, they did not get a tailwind support of the market, still even in that scenario also they're able to make money out of it, right? So Anand Rathi basically typically advises the HNI clients, which basically mostly on how to manage their money, right? And that's how they manage. So one interesting number which I liked a lot from, and I think in this sector the most important crux of the matter is that whether your clients today will stick with you or not, and also whether you can grow your clients or not. These are one of the two major factors. And other than that, whether your RMs are staying with you or not. The total inflows that Anand Rathi got from the clients for this quarter was around 3,000 crore rupees. If I do a breakup of this 3,000 crore rupees, 2,000 crore came into equity mutual funds and 1,000 crore went to the other non-equity mutual funds, right? The interesting data point here is that for the same quarter last year, they got total 1,000 crore as inflows. So year on year, they got a growth of 1,000 crore in the equity mutual funds, right? Why I think this will really help them to remain the clients, because, and that's what Anand Rathi promises, that they will probably get you a higher return and also a lower volatility to the client. So typically, if you think of the last 1 year, अगर last exam देखते हो आप, so the market was most of it was flat, right? So in a flattish market, or in a let's say non-momentum market where the PE has really shrunk down a lot, if you invest in such markets, historically, statistically, we see that we get higher return, right? So in these scenarios, in this scenario, typically investors don't want to invest in the market, but Anand Rathi was able to convince their clients, make them invest equity mutual fund, and which can be expected, nothing is guaranteed, to give the clients more return. So kudos to Anand Rathi for being able to get higher AUM in a flattish drawish market, almost double of it. So, so that what makes Anand Rathi a good, in my eyes, having the ability to advise their client properly, having the right, their client also listening to them. So this looks good. And on the RM side, the attrition has been very low. So this is mostly about the HNI and ultra HNI. There's a third part of their overall income, which is a smaller part. It's basically for the mass influent. The idea is that other retail investors can actually use their platform using some kind of, maybe let's say, robo advisory kind of thing, and start investing. And Anand Rathi's management's idea is that when a small investor comes to the platform and they get larger, later on they can sort of approach them as a client. So they are getting the cost of acquisition approaching a HNI should lower due to this. So that's it. Other than that, overall, this is like the company, once the results came out, the stock went up almost 10 to 12%, right? The stock is already at a very high PE of 75, 74, 75. So most of the growth that is already there, I think, are kicked in. The company, what I understood hearing the management in a TV interview, was that they typically want to have a stock company which also makes money for the shareholders. They really know the investors typically likes company which are able to consistently grow the revenue with very low standard deviation. And also investors like company which under promises and over delivers. So the overall FY26 profit guidance was 375 crore, and we see and they have already achieved more than 50% of it. And overall, I think they should be able to cross their guidance of 375 crore profit. Similarly, the guidance for AUM was 1 lakh crore the financial year, and I also think that should also be manageable. So they really know how to play the game in the stock market for the shareholders also. So I think that's it. Interesting proposition, interesting times. We should also explore other wealth management companies. So stay tuned to the channel. And finally, if you like this video, do hit the bell button.